I'm going to explain how to build your focus. I used to find it really hard to focus, and especially when reading because of my dyslexia, and I was convinced there was nothing I could do about it. I had this fixed mindset. But then I stumbled across this TED talk about the growth mindset, and it allowed me to understand that I could build my brain like I build my muscles. And as a rugby player, I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing one, I can do both. And then I came across the book Deep Work, and this helped me understand the ability to be bored, okay, to have time on your hands and to do something with it. And how you become bored and how you create more time for yourself in your day is you remove distractions. And the first one is external distractions. When I was around 14, I read this book and I deleted all social media off my phone. I still had the accounts, but it gained so much time for me because I then had 3 hours of time that I could use to study. To tackle internal distractions, I use a form of time blocking with a journal. And this helps me use a sticky note throughout the day to write stuff down that I need to do that isn't important in that time where I'm focusing. I try and do one thing at once, and I try and focus all my energy into that one thing and be as present as possible in the moment. And if something comes up in my mind, I'll just write it down onto the sticky note, and I will think about it later when I've got that time to think about those things in my time block. And this allows me to have an intention for every moment throughout the day. And when I reflect on it and I make my plan for the next day, the night before I go to bed, it allows me to create a philosophy and reflect on the things that worked, things that didn't work, and reflect on the things that are helping me build my focus and the things that are not. In the deep work, he goes over types of deep work, and using time blocking is really great because you can understand what type of deep work works for you. So there's a couple. So the habitual type of deep work where you do it at the same time every day, and the monistic is where you do it for long periods without interruption, and the journalistic where you just fit it in between like lectures and stuff like that. For me, the most useful deep work method was the habitual type where you do it at the same time every day and it reduces the decision. But then I read the book Atomic Habits, which really helped me with the habitual type of deep work because it allowed me to understand how to build a good habit and how to break a bad habit. So to build a good habit, you need to create your desk in a certain way so it's easy to start, make it satisfying. And then in the book, it talks about building systems over goals. And this is where it changed everything for me because I realized when it came to studying, I needed to build a system around it so that it could help me to get to the goal. And the system was built around Anki flashcards. I've made a video on my channel on how I do it, and it really helps me synthesize everything onto Anki so that the lead measure then becomes reviewing the flashcards. And then I can track that. I can tangibly create a scoreboard of it and make it like a game. And that's what I really like as well, like using a controller when I study and stuff like that. But that was Atomic Habits. There's some useful links in the description to a cheat sheet for it that helped me. Another thing is active rest. Active rest, I believe, is something that makes you feel good afterwards. So when you're not studying, I think that's just as important as when you're studying to build your focus, because I believe every opportunity is an opportunity for you to deepen your focus. So for example, when I'm not studying, I'm working out, I'm reading, I'm spending meaningful time with my friends and my girlfriend and my family. And I'm not just staring at a phone or losing lots of time on something that doesn't help me in the future and makes me feel worse afterwards. I still watch YouTube, but I make sure I have intentionality with it, so I'm not losing track of time and I'm only watching people that I truly love. So with active rest, it's something that makes you feel good afterwards. So try and incorporate active rest instead of passive rest, which is just scrolling social media. And then the next thing is this book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. When I read this book when I was around like 15, it really changes everything for me because it made me realize that I want to strive for my potential, not just strive for average, but I want to strive for the best I could possibly be. And another thing is that it made me realize that I am responsible for everything that happens to me in my life. And I can't blame the past or I can't blame anything that's happened to me. And I need to get rid of all the bloody excuses like my dyslexia, like my asthma, and all these different things that are trying to hold me back. But realize that I am in responsibility and I am in control of whatever happens to me in the next, you know? And the quote from Lion King really sums this up for me. The past can hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or you can learn from it. And that really helps me learn from the past, and make a plan for the future to create a goal to get around it, you know. And with studying and with whatever, like, you can build it. You're responsible for it. Strive to be the best you can be, possibly your potential, you know. Try and strive for that. When Benjamin Franklin, he did virtue tracking, when he was tracking his virtues, at the end of it, when he died, he said, I didn't reach the person I wanted to be, but at least I strove for it, because imagine if I didn't, you know. He strove to be that person that he wanted to be, but we might fall short, you know. But I don't want to have any regrets, because the pain of discipline is less than the pain of regret. I hope this video helps you build your focus a bit more. Understand that focus is something you can build. It's not something that's fixed. You are responsible for it. And I hope these books, if you read them, help you, because they really helped me. And thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your week, and peace. Bye bye.